Hello and welcome to another Mr. Carter Science Special. In this video we're going to be looking at the adaptations of animals to a range of different habitats. In particular we're going to be focusing on the polar habitat and desert habitats. The Earth has a huge range of habitats which organisms must be adapted to if they are to survive. Habitats like tropical rainforests, temperate forests, polar regions and of course the deserts. So the adaptations in animals fall into three main categories. We've got structural adaptations, for example the shape or the colour of an animal. Behavioural adaptations, for example migration patterns, basking to absorb energy from the sun, or even using tools. And functional adaptations, for example altering metabolism by using antifreeze in your cells, or delaying embryo implantation to ensure offspring are born at an optimum time. So if we look at cold climate adaptations, for example polar bears here, we have to consider the main issue for animals living in a cold climate is that they need to reduce heat loss from their skin. They don't want to lose too much heat. So in order to make certain that they reduce heat loss, animals living in cold climates will have very large bodies with small surface area to volume ratios, and this will reduce the amount of heat lost through the skin to the environment. The surface area of the ears and other thin-skinned areas is also very small. So if you look at the ears of the polar bear and you compare them to animals that live in hot climates, you'll have very small ears, and again this reduces the surface area and reduces therefore heat loss. And they will have a thick fur coat which will trap air. Now remember, trapped air is an insulator and will therefore reduce heat loss and keep you warm. They will also have plenty of blubbery fat underneath their skin, and again the blubber acts as an insulator, reducing heat loss. It also acts as a winter food store. The animals can break down that fat and utilize it in respiration throughout winter when there will be less food available. Camouflage is another adaptation that animals often use, and most predators and prey in the Arctic will be camouflaged. However, most species will actually change the colour of their coat, the fur coat, from brown in the summer to white in the winter in order to maintain their camouflage as the snows begin to fall. And you can see that here. Here's the summer coat of the Arctic fox and the winter coat of the Arctic fox. You can see it's changed colour to continue its camouflage, and actually the winter coat is fluffier, furrier, trapping more air and therefore insulating the animal much better. In contrast, deserts are very hot, although they can have cold nights. Deserts also of course contain very little water, so animals have to be adapted to these conditions. Desert animals need to stop their body from overheating during the day or becoming too cold at night, and most desert animals will get all their water needs from their food, not from drinking. Desert mammals try and keep cool without sweating, again to prevent water loss. So the big issue in a desert is to make certain you don't lose too much water because you don't have a ready source of water to replenish any water that you lose. So desert animals have many behavioural adaptations. They are often active in the cooler mornings or in the evenings or at night time, and during the cold nights and the heat of the day they will rest in burrows, and the burrows will be underground and have a constant temperature. Desert animals also have structural adaptations. They have small bodies with large ears, as you can see here with the desert hare, which will give a large surface area compared to a smaller volume, so they will lose more heat energy through the surface of their skin. They also have very little fur and very little body fat, which will allow the heat to be lost easily. One example of this is the jerboa, found in the deserts of the UAE. And this is a small animal, so it has a large surface area to volume ratio, so it will lose heat more quickly than a large animal, which will have a smaller surface area compared to a larger volume. And therefore small animals often have a higher rate of respiration because this releases more heat energy, so it helps to maintain a constant internal temperature. Now, respiration is one of the main chemical reactions that make up your metabolism, so small animals will have a higher metabolism than large animals. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this short video on adaptations in animals. If you have, don't forget to like and subscribe, and drop me a comment and let me know what you've learned. Thank you very much.